Are we ready? This is part 2 of the Draw a Pile project. Had a pile made of tape and string and some paint buckets, cans of paint that were just lying around. Made a pyramid out of those, drew it. And then I wanted to augment it with something that was invented, something that wasn't there. And I started erasing blank spaces into the composition and making leaves. So I'm kind of working with the eraser and a pencil. I could take it all the way black and white like this. I could have just kept going. But I do make a decision to use watercolors. And of course that's not necessary, but I felt it a challenge. Sitting with the guitar today. Got a little capo on the 5th. Now that's a ballpoint pen. And I still hadn't made up my mind, I think, what medium I was going to focus on, watercolor, pen, or pencil. It becomes all three, actually. And right here, make the commitment to do a watercolor. This is not watercolor paper. This is heavyweight drawing paper, so it bends and buckles a little bit with watercolor, acrylic, or anything like that. But if you're light with it, it'll dry up pretty fast and it won't do that too much. So this is kind of a greenish orange, and I'm not in the habit of cleaning my watercolor palette that often. So I kind of just use the leftover muddy values that I can reactivate with a little bit of water. Watercolor is your choice, of course. I did think about using colored pencils for this, or markers. It would have worked. It would have been more bold, I think. This becomes pretty subtle. I don't know what this ultimately says. It's, if you want to simplify a piece of art, use a composition or a meaning, just take two things that don't belong and put them together. It's called a juxtaposition. You compare them, and usually comparing some things that don't make sense together, and you see a co-relationship between things that are normally separate. And a classic of this is, of course, technology and nature. So we have these, they started off as rolls of tape, but now I see them as kind of like rusty pipe parts or plumbing or something like that. And now the leaves are kind of taking over. The organic is taking over the manufactured. And just let it be that. I had other ideas of putting figures in there or turning it into some kind of massive ruin, but it became a small ruin kind of with life growth coming out of it. And of course, I've drawn lots of plants before, but these are just generic. I didn't use any plants as models or anything. With a little more time, I may have put some flowers in or something, and I still might. It was a fun drawing. More of a study. See if you can do it. You know, if you can set up a pile on your desk and it can become anything and you can start to imagine, then you can build a pretty large body of work just by doing that. Now I feel a little rushed for time at this point, so I'm putting in the pen. This is, let's see. Yeah, ballpoint pen again, just going over the top and reinforcing things. If I were going to spend days on this drawing, then I may not do that yet. I might put in some more detail and then put the pen in after, if at all. But it's more, this is an hour-long drawing. And I think that that's about right for the second half of the pile project. And there you go. That's where it is right now. Wouldn't say it's the final version, but on to other things next week.